This is a 2-pack of battery-operated motion-sensing wall sconces. They also have a remote control. I was sent these to review for free. If you wanted to purchase them, they would cost you about $32. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinions remain my own. So in the package, we get 2x USB-A to USB-C charging cables, 2x of these wall sconces, which I believe are intended to be mounted this way. Inside they have a light facing up and a light facing down, and they have some adjustable flaps that you can adjust to direct the light to like make a tight beam on the wall, or just direct it all the way out to kind of go up to 120 degrees. So that both the top and bottom have lights that are adjustable flaps. They also have some motion sensors, so there's an infrared motion sensor here and a push button control down here. There's also a remote control that comes with the pack, so I believe you can remote control them as well as having them turn on when they detect motion. They each have a USB port here on the side, so it's a USB-C port, and so they are battery powered, and you will need to recharge those batteries when they run down. Now they come with these wall brackets that just slide out. So they include double-sided sticky tape where you can stick this to the wall, or you can use these screws and drywall anchors to kind of more permanently mount them. So these guys just clip onto the wall. When you need to recharge them, you lift them off, take them to a charger, charge them, bring them back, and then just slide them back on. So the remote control does require 2 AAA batteries. You'll have to provide your own batteries if you want to use the remote control. Now the lights do have a power button, so if you lose the remote control, let's see what happens if you push the power button. So there, that light turned on. I'm not sure if that's motion sensing or not. I'm going to play around with the flaps here. So, the flaps you can put very narrow and have just a super tiny beam facing up, although you're blocking most of the light if you do that. You can have it go kind of straight up and still kind of goes wide, or you can adjust these guys as wide as possible to get probably 120 degrees there. So you can adjust the flaps as you want to get the light angle how you'd like it. I'm in an indoor room with all the lights turned on here, and it's a decent amount of light. So this is a little more than a night light. It's not like a super bright lamp, but it definitely provides some light to the area. Now I'm not sure if it's in motion mode or if it's just in kind of constant light mode. There appears to be, if I push the button again, it got dimmer, pushed again it turns off. So it looks like we have high, medium, and off. I put some batteries in the remote, push the on button, they turn on and off. Alright, according to the manual, this guy turns the lights on and off. On button puts it in constant light mode, which it kind of already was on. And the auto button turns it to motion sensing mode. So I hit the auto button and it gets brighter. So in motion sensing mode, while it detects motion, it's putting out bright light. And when it stops detecting motion, it'll turn off on its own. According to the manual, if it detects no motion for 20 seconds, the lights will turn off on their own. So I'm going to go walk away and see if they turn off. Alright, they've turned off. Now I'm going to sneak back and see when they notice me. Alright, I'm above the lights right now. I'm up here, so they're not noticing. Oh, there they, just so, if you have some motion anywhere below this plane, they do seem to detect it. Alright, I set this light up in a dark room on a bookcase here, and you can see it puts out a decent amount of light. I plugged this into a USB-C power delivery phone charger. It's charging at 5 volts. It's only drawing like 3.4 watts at like 0.6 amps. So I don't know if it was fully discharged or if it was fully charged from the factory, but it looks like it charges at the 5 volt level at a relatively low rate here. Now while it's charging, there's a little red light here that's underneath this rubber port. Plugged in this guy via a USB-A to C cable. It's charging at 4.9 volts, 0.6 amps, about 3.3 watts. Alright, aesthetics wise, it's not bad. It is plastic, of course, but it's kind of a matte finish, not super shiny plastic. You're going to be looking at it like this, so as long as you don't mount it too high, the motion sensor and the light aren't very obvious. It has a nice slide off the back here, so it mounts very flush to the wall. you know, I think really this USB port here is the only thing that really detracts from it visually. I kind of wish they'd put that on the bottom. Even without a plug cover, just a USB port on the bottom I think would have been less noticeable. But other than that, it's not bad. You know, I could see putting this up in your house. All right, this guy's done charging with a green light. This guy's also done charging. I can tell because it's like 0 amps, 0 watts. It took 5 watt-hours to fill it up from the factory. Alright, it is 6:15 p.m. and I have turned both of these guys on. I pushed the up brightness so they're at the full brightness, and I just am letting them run. The time-lapse camera will watch. Alright, so it's been 15 hours and my time-lapse camera ran out of battery, but these guys are still going strong. Alright, the battery on my time-lapse camera ran out, so I lost most of that footage. But what I did capture at the very end here shows that it had just a little bit under 18 hours of ARN time in continuous mode. Started at 6:15 in the evening and went till almost noon the next day. So pretty reasonable runtime, 17.5 hours. Alright, we're going to charge this guy all the way back up. I have a watt-hour meter counting how many watt-hours it takes in, so we'll find kind of an estimate for the battery capacity. It is charging at 3.4 watts, so about the same rate as before. So it doesn't look like it's ever going to need more than about 3 to 4 watts to charge. Alright, so this guy's almost done charging, and it took 18 watt-hours to charge it up, which is 3,600 milliamp hours at the 5-volt level. This other one here is done charging as a green light, so it looks like about 6.5 hours to charge. And you can see this guy also took 18 watt-hours, so the battery capacity is basically 18 watt-hours to charge it up, probably about a 15 watt-hour battery total capacity. So I'm going to be using these motion-activated lights in this closet to provide interior lighting for the closet when the doors are opened. Alright, so once you install the brackets, it's pretty simple. You just line up the lines and up they go. So you can adjust these guys to, do a more focused line of light like that if you want. I'm personally going to be leaving them going in all directions here for the closet application. Alright, so there's the dark closet. As soon as it detects motion, the light turns on. This one doesn't turn on until you actually poke your head inside around the corner. So it provides enough light to see what you're dealing with. Alright, this is the closet with both motion lights turned on. Now if there's no motion detected for 20 seconds, they will automatically turn off. Alright, they're relatively inexpensive. They work well. They got 18 hours in my runtime test for kind of continuous light, so I'm relatively willing to believe that their 10-hour claim for 10 hours worth of 20 seconds at a time motion sensing light is probably somewhat accurate. So I think you will have to take them down and charge them every so often, but that procedure is trivially easy. You just take it and plug it in and bring it back when it's charged again, so that's super easy. I think they're a pretty good value for the price.